Good evening, ladies and gentlefolk. Uh, Welcome to the Legend of Zelda Randomizer Pen of Force Tournament. Tonight we're going to have a race between AMO 22 and Sparkover, which should be starting very shortly. I think Alsoa will be commentating with me, although they may seem to have a couple technical difficulties getting in the commentator's booth, so hopefully we'll be able to get those resolved pretty soon. Looks like we have a Good Luck Spark over on Amo's side and Sparkover's Bears, Bears, Bears. I hear Sparkover likes bears, so that's probably no surprise that that's what she would choose for the file names. Looks like we are having some Discord issues, which we're trying to work out on the back end. Probably pretty normal for Discord that there would be some reliability issues, so bear with us as we try to work those out. Uh, All right, looks like also is still having some technical difficulties. I have no idea why it's affecting also and not me, but we're just going to go with it. And yeah, looks like having massive Discord issues. So apologies for that, but if we get started soon, I'm going to do my best to call the race as best as I can. In the meantime, I'll talk a little bit about the rules or the flags for this race. Unlike a lot of other Zelda randomizer races, only 5 Triforce pieces are required, which definitely changes the dynamics of the race. The other new feature that's worth noting is that the book, instead of just being a useless or annoying feature that just causes the wand not to be very good for combat, it now actually lets you decode all of the NPCs in the game and be able to hear what they say. One last difference between this and other flags is that important items such as the ladder, recorder, raft can actually be in level 9. In other previous incarnations of the randomizer, they weren't allowed to be. So it looks like we should be getting underway in just another couple seconds. And again, apologies for the Discord issues. We hope to have those resolved as soon as we can. Okay, looks like we have both of them checking out the casino corner in the northeast. Both of the runners seem to be picking up candles, a really good choice so that they'll be able to start burning bushes and not have to backtrack as much going forward. I missed some of the beginning, so I didn't quite see the start screen, so apologies for that. So we see a little bit of a divergence here. Amo looks like he's checking the northeast corner, where Sparkover is instantly using the the candle she got to go check the forest, and only got 1 rupee from that secret. Don't spend it all in one place. Yeah. Hopefully the medium and large secrets will be a little bit better at than just 1 rupee or... Yep. Meanwhile, it looks like Amos trying to find the Armos item, but unfortunately takes a death trying to open that Armos statue there. Okay, so starting right around Vanilla 1 or southeast of 1. But luckily, being on Candle Row, Amo will be able to check those out, and perhaps, taking a death there might even be a blessing in disguise. Meanwhile, it looks like Sparkover is going to make her way over to check the coast item and ladder item. Oh, another 1 rupee for her trouble. Cheapskate. But yeah, both of these runners are going to be looking for the wood sword, which is going to be in one of the open caves, so they won't have to burn a bush or bomb a cave in order to get the wood sword. It looks like the coast item is the vanilla heart. So wait a minute, are we sure this is randomized? No. Amo taking another overworld death. These could get costly for him, but it looks like he's taking a taking a path and going to be using it to his advantage and going in a different direction to look for that wood sword. Yeah, a lot of these 1 rupee low secrets. I'm definitely hoping. I think I saw a 27 medium secret, and I don't believe we've seen a large secret yet, so hopefully that one will be on the higher side. Oh no, and Amo having trouble with those Lionels and taking yet another death. Youch. I feel bad for poor Amo on the overworld, but in the meantime, Sparkover found the wood sword, but is also taking a death of her own. So looks like both of these runners are having a little bit of a rough start to the seed. Unfortunately, it looks like Amo is going to go in the wrong direction to find his wood sword, since I believe Sparko found it over on the east side of the forest. So that might put her in an initial lead, but as with randomizer, as usual, the lead can change pretty much at any time, and definitely don't count the runners out until the very end. No level sightings so far, so it's kind of interesting. Usually by now we would have seen at least 1 level that they would have at least bopped by and maybe have not dig it yet, but... Oh, Amo's getting Lionel'd again. Oh, be careful there. Oh, and speaking of that, finds level 1. Level 1 is definitely a good find for Amo because not only do you have 2 different dungeon items in it, it's also the smallest with respect to rooms. And looks like that power bracelet is the floor item in 1. Literally can't miss it as you go inside the level. And okay, having a little bit of a technical difficulty with Amo's screen, but now it looks like we got that resolved. So Sparko will be probably taking some of these checking some of these caves near Vanilla's start, although she's running into some health issues as well. But luckily finds a take Annie and gets a new heart container to stop the bleeding a little bit. Meanwhile, Amo's checking out the Westlake Mall area, as I like to call it, because in the vanilla game, this is where you do your shopping for the meat and arrows. In this case, just another medium secret. It's going to be interesting to see whether Amo goes back into level 1. He couldn't really do much without a sword there, but hopefully he'll be able to get through that. I always, when I play, like to go through level 1 quickly just because it's very small and manageable. He also just found level 3.
Level 3, you say?
Level 3, I say. A wild Alsoa appears in the commentary booth. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Discord decided to be Discord. So we have some stuff.
Yeah, and things. Things and stuff.
Stuff and things.
Yeah. And Discord's going to Discord, basically. So in the meantime, Sparkover found level 1 herself. Now, and picking up the obvious power bracelet there. And she'll probably do a little bit more digging since she has that wood sword, and which will be giving her a little bit of an advantage there.
So far, the tale of the seed seems to have been East Coast versus West Coast, which basically is left side, right side gamble already.
Yeah, exactly. Well, East Coast, Beast Coast, right?
Exactly. Oh, look, another key door.
And Dark Nuts and Wizrobes in the same level. Double your pleasure, double your fun. And by fun, I mean death.
So, bomb upgrades?
I certainly hope so. So far hasn't been a very money-rich seed. We haven't seen a single large secret, and also Sparko without a key is not going to be able to get very far in level 1 unless she's able to take care of all these Wizrobes, which looks like I may have commentator cursed her. Sorry about that.
You know, with the fact that Wizrobes are in level 1, that means we're going to get to like level 7, which is a dungeon you don't want to dig because it's so big, and it'll be Goria's.
Yeah. I swear the game knows sometimes.
Sometimes it knows all of the times.
Yeah, that is true. So now Sparko is taking her turn in level 3. Gets a heart container for her trouble, and we'll be digging that through. Hopefully she'll be able to have a little bit better luck than with the previous level.
I did not see where Amo picked up the recorder.
Where did Amo get the recorder?
I mean,
Was that the Armos item?
Could have been the Armos item. It could also have just been the item in 3. Simply because he was there.
Oh, that could be too. Alright, well, Amo somehow has the recorder and checked Vanilla 7. Not really anything exciting there, but... Oh no, Sparkover takes another death. Yeah, it looks like this might be a rough combat seed until they get a couple more heart containers or offensive upgrades.
Or some jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry definitely would help. And the Lionels on the overworld, speaking of helping or of not helping, especially since we already saw Amo having trouble there, but it looks like he's in the right neck of the woods to look for his sword. Oh, well, so much for that idea. He takes another death, going all the way back to near Vanilla Start. Yikes.
He can go back. It's not that far of a walk, right?
Yeah, that's true. But...
And chat noticed something very interesting and unfortunate on Sparkover's side. When the game considers you having used the key, and when the game actually considers the door open, are a couple frames apart, and you can die in those couple of frames to where you lose your key, but the door doesn't open.
Ah, that's really frustrating. It's like when you lose money in a vending machine or something, and you can try banging it, but usually doesn't get you anywhere.
Absolutely.
All right.
Of course.
Looks like Amo's going to make another play for the wood sword. Hopefully third time will be the charm for him.
Survey says... Oh, there's a bomb upgrade. That's expensive. But maybe worth it.
Yeah, unfortunately they haven't gotten enough money to afford it quite yet. Interesting play for Amo checking out the Vanilla 2 area before going to others. Vanilla 2 can be a little bit rough being sort of a choke point area, but finds level 9, which is going to be a nice little hospital for him as he updates.
What, you don't want to go in there and see what the old man says, Amo? Man.
Yeah, I think the old man is probably going to say the same thing as everyone else.
So if he wants a pizza, if we give him the meat, do we need to just give him like 5 meats and that counts as a pizza?
I don't know exactly how that works, or does he want meat on as like a topping for the pizza? Oh, meanwhile, Sparko found the scrap metal in level 3 and is going to pick it up. TGE isn't here, is he? I hope not.
I shall be the voice of TEGE. It is the inferior model.
Yep.
And based on seeing that magic boomerang there, we have reason to believe now that the White Sword item is in fact the thingamathing, recorder. Not the White Sword item, the armor side.
Ah, okay. We must have just missed Amo picking it up.
That is very possible.
Well, if anyone in chat knows, please let us know. And Amo is going to see that the Coast Heart hasn't been shuffled. So but that's not really applicable until they find the ladder anyway.
Which, for all we know, they may not find at all.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of ladderless seeds with these flags, so you never know. Oh, and we have a level 7 spotting on Amo's side, down on the south coast.
Real question is, does he go in? The answer is no.
Survey says, eh. But might be going back later, you never know. Oh, and a level 8 right next door.
This is a level I think Amo will want to dig, as it's both smaller than 7 and has 2 items.
Or not. Oh, nope. He is going back in. Oh, trying to do the pirouette trick, but unfortunately that didn't seem to save him a key there.
That is correct. The pirouette trick will only work on the door directly opposite of where you enter the dungeon. So if there was a bomb wall on the right, it would have opened, but given that this is level 8 in First Quest shapes, we know that there would have been no bomb wall.
Oh, and it looks like we found Uncle Wizzy's bigger house here. Yikes.
What kind of job? What kind of job does Uncle Wizzy have that he has like 5 houses?
I don't know, but it must be a really nice job to, find all these abodes for him and all of his friends. I don't know if this is in Zelda canon or not. But at any rate, Amo's going to continue going through level 8. Oh, we've been told in chat that Uncle Wizzy sells fairy powder. I can believe that.
I could also believe that. And a large secret of 93. This isn't the nicest money seed in the world, but it's not full-on poverty, I think.
That is true. Uh-oh, Amo taking another death in level 8. Yeah, it's a tough enemy set in 8. This is actually one of those cases where what you suggested, that level 7 might actually be the better play, or with an easier enemy set. Or perhaps level 6 that Sparkover just found.
Well, if it is going to be level 6, it's not going to be that way, because that's a ladder block.
Oh, yikes. Well, so much for that idea. And a key block going that way.
These dungeons just do not want to be entered.
Nope. Well, except for the ones with the wizards. Those clearly are able to be entered.
Yes. It's like, do you want pain or do you want pain?
I'll have pain, please. Oh, wait. And speaking of pain, it looks like we have 8 blue dark nuts in a really confined space on Amo's screen. He's going to very wisely nope out of that place.
You know, I'm surprised nobody said propane. Looks like Sparkover is going to go and do Death Mountain a little bit. We'll see which parts of Death Mountain she decides to do. She's going for the west side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, this could be potentially a really rewarding play, or it could have nothing of consequence. We'll have to find out.
It has a magical sword. That counts for something, right?
Yeah, that won't come into play until a little bit later, but you never know. Oh, looks like we have 3 troll dongos in level 8. Amo will be using that to refresh his bombs, it looks like, or at least refresh his bombs on one of them. Oh, and a compass find. That's really nice, especially since he's still without any Triforce pieces.
If that's the room I'm thinking it is, I don't know when or if Amo will come back for this Triforce.
Which room were you thinking it is?
The Blue Darknet room.
Oh, yeah, the one he noped out of. Yeah, I can't blame him for not wanting to fight that one.
And on the other hand, he does get the Dig Dogger down because he has picked up that recorder. And yeah, that's not a useful room at all.
Indeed, so he's just going to nope out of there and up A. And we'll probably be getting the unpleasant news about who's guarding the Triforce. But since there's a second item in level 8, he may want to explore some of the western part of the level anyway.
Meanwhile, Sparkover's over in level 5. We're kind of in an interesting situation where we've got Antlers with a little bit less dungeons found, but more resources to work with. Whereas Sparkover has, even though she's got more money and more dungeons found, her key situation and her bomb situation aren't the best.
Indeed. Although her money situation is doing fairly well, so she might be able to make up for it in terms of purchasing bombs, although I don't believe we've seen a bomb store yet. Sparko picks up the Triforce in level 5. I'm not sure if that was a Y-Force or an intentional grab, but it'll be interesting to see whether she goes back in for the item.
That looks like an intentional grab, and she may have decided to do that for the health refill.
That's a wise choice, then.
Amo just finding all of the blue dark nuts and none of the items in this level. That's not Zelda!
No, what's that Dig Dogger doing there?
Hey, Dig Doggers can be pretty too.
I agree.
They just don't like music at all.
Oh, and Amo's very happy he dug the rest of 8, finding the silver arrows.
That is an absolutely fantastic find, especially given how tough this 8 is to get into.
Indeed.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just nopes on out of the Triforce in here and just leaves with his silvers.
Yeah, I forget. Did Amo find a second item in 8 already, or just this one?
I believe he's only found this one, as
Okay.
he looks like he's still looking for items.
Makes sense. He's in a little bit of a dilemma whether to use his last key on that door to the left. He might be able to find another way around to the mid left part of this level, which I think is the only real place he hasn't been yet.
I believe he's done some bombing around to look for the other way. And Sparkover is loaded on money. She's got the cap. She may want to think about buying something like a blue ring, a bomb upgrade, maybe a large shield. There's a recorder.
Oh, and Amo's key troubles are now going to melt entirely away, having found the any key. Wisely booking it out of 8 instead of dealing with those blue dark nuts given his wood sword.
Oh yeah, if he knows that he can get Triforces in other dungeons without having to go through an 8 blue dark nut room, he will do that.
Oh, and look at the white sword item on Sparkover's side. I am sure she is ecstatic finding that. Wow.
That is going to help her out tremendously. Will quadruple her defense, effectively giving her 28 hearts.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting what she chooses to spend the money on, because a blue ring normally costs around 230 to 250 rupees, and that's about how many she has, so she'll have to figure out something else to spend it on.
I'd like to see her go back to level 3 and buy that bomb upgrade.
Yeah, especially since she was running low on bombs before. Amo picking up a potion from a take any. That's an interesting choice. I can't blame him not having the letter yet. But only having 4 heart containers, I would have expected him to prioritize picking up a 5th.
Well, if you think about it, given the situation he's in, he's only got 4 hearts. He doesn't know when his next heart container cave is going to be, and he doesn't know if he's even going to pick up the letter. And, well, I don't know how he is as a runner. He may be confident enough that he's just saying, you know what? I don't need to worry about hearts. I can run it on low percent.
That works too.
Level 4 is found on Sparkover's side, and looking at the handy-dandy map we've got here, I think we're only missing level 2.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen level 2 yet, but we've seen pretty much every other level. The level 4, it looks like it has a relatively easy enemy set. And by relatively easy, I mean no whiz robes, basically, and no dark nuts.
And we are getting indication from chat that Amo is actually a sub 31 runner, so I imagine running on Woodsword Green Tunic is no issue for him at all.
Okay, yeah, he probably knows what he's doing then. And is noping out of picking up the boomerang, which kind of follows that. Makes sense. Meanwhile, Sparkover will keep digging through level 4. She's already with 2 Tringles, although having a little bit of a nasty burning accident with the candle. That's gotta hurt.
It is surprisingly easy to do that. And this is actually a good play for Amo. He now knows that... he remembers that level 1 was key blocked. He knows he's got the magical key. He can just burn keys like crazy and doesn't really have to worry about clearing rooms outside of looking for the floor drop item in 1.
Yeah, that's true. Although, unfortunately, he hasn't found that red ring yet, so health is a little bit of an issue for him, even though it's not quite as much of an issue for Sparkover. Oh no, but it looks like she's going to have to fight these Gibdos all over again. Yikes.
Gibdos are an enemy that just sometimes they're not necessarily hard, they just take a while.
Yep, that's true. And while she's sorting down the last few Gibdos, we'll notice that Amo's further into level 1, but blocked by combat right here. He's going to be in trouble and might have a hard time getting to the top part of level 1, unless he can find a way around here.
It looks like there is an open door here that he'll be able to take. Oh, look at this room with the Triforce.
Uh-oh. Well, so much for that idea. It's going to be ladder blocked.
And more blue dark nuts.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him Oh no, I think he was trying to bomb that dark nut so he could bomb up to the north wing of level 1, but unfortunately taking a bomb from the red dark nut in the process. Yikes.
Any room with limited mobility is hard enough to fight dark nuts in. When it's a room like the island room or the NSU room, it's just it's a lot to get through. It's a lot to get through dark nuts sometimes.
Yeah, and especially a rough room where you're a little bit constrained in terms of fighting them. But oh, is able to get through this time. We'll see what's in the top half of the level. Definitely picking up that heart container. And we're being told in chat, Sparko's got ladder blocked out of 4, so she'll have to come back a little bit later with the ladder if she finds it. Speaking of the ladder...
Oh man, this is interesting. So now we have a situation where a runner has the health and combat advantage over the item advantage of Amo. This will be interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, my gut reaction is that Amo finding all these items definitely puts him at a huge advantage. But at the same time, if he's not going to be able to get the rest of the Triforce pieces very easily due to the combat, like with the blue dark nuts in level 8, that advantage kind of goes away. But he is going to be able to take out those red dark nuts and pick up the Triforce in 1, so that'll tie our count at 2 each.
And this is a place where sometimes there's a discussion that comes up of, are the flags geared more towards luck or more towards skill? And this is kind of the point that I'll sometimes make, is that you can see on Amo's side, he's just about ready to go into 9, especially because Bo can be in 9. But he's going to be going into 9 with less hearts and less weaponry than Sparkover might be, because she's got that red ring, she's got those extra hearts.
Oh, question in chat. Yes, he did get the floor item. The floor item was the power bracelet, and you literally could not miss it going into level 1.
Well, you certainly could miss it. You could just choose not to pick it up, but...
Well, you couldn't not notice it. That's what I meant.
Okay, gotcha.
Meanwhile, Sparkover's back in level 3, having a little bit more preparation combat-wise. Probably taking the bomb upgrade, which is makes Amo, or that'll make you happy, right?
Absolutely. That I'm a full believer of, if you have the money for a bomb upgrade and you know you're not going to buy a blue ring, buy the bomb upgrade. You never know when you're going to need to find some crazy bomb while on level 9 to get through the rest of the dungeon.
Now, luckily enough, Sparko, I mean, she doesn't know this yet, but is going to go back in level 1 and be very happy with what she's going to be rewarded by, assuming she can make it through all these dark nuts and wizrobes.
You know, she may, if she gets this ladder, she may decide to go back to level 4.
Yeah, very possibly, especially since level 4 is a little bit out of the way, being where Vanilla 5 is, so that might change the calculus a little bit, but yeah, I could see her doing that, especially since a warp is not too far away. Or in any road, rather.
Emo has found the book.
Ooh, literature, knowledge.
And unlike normally, where the book just creates a fire out of your wand, which is useful for killing land molas, here it also allows you to translate what the old men are saying. So now Amo will be able to get hints and see the community hints in the shops and the door repairs and so on.
Well, Sparko is still fighting those wizrobes and dark nuts in level 1, and boy, some of them seem really beefy, so she's going to have to be careful down to half a heart. Even with the red ring, that's getting a little bit low health-wise. Gotta be careful.
Yes, I believe it's one more bop from anything at this point, and she will take a death. But she does get it cleared.
Phew. Unfortunately, she's probably not going to be rewarded with anything more than some red wizrobe staring her in the eyes.
However, she will get rewarded in the sense that she will never have to clear that room again because of those bubbles.
Amo's going back into level 6. It'll be interesting. Oh, and a very clutch heart container for Sparkover.
I think he's just looking for the Triforce at this point, now that he's seen the item.
Makes sense. Oh, and Sparko making good use out of that boomerang. See, it's not completely useless.
No, it's just sometimes it's harder to control that version than the other version.
Yep. Well, at any rate, she's going to be very happy to find the ladder, if for no other reason that will enable her to pick up her third Triforce piece from the Dark Nut moat room.
Amo opting to spend the bomb instead of spend the heart.
Well, with only 5 heart containers, I can't hardly blame him.
No, not at all. And if he does decide to go back to 3 for a bomb upgrade, or maybe he finds one here, it'll bring him up to 10 bombs, which is certainly enough. And even at 7, it's not terrible to go into dive with 7 bombs max.
I like Sparkover's strat of hanging out with the ladder over the river, so that way the Dark Nuts won't be able to bop her at all.
Oh, absolutely. If you're fighting Dark Nuts on Wood Sword, you want to use the ladder as much as you can. And gets a clock.
Yes, very clutch clock. It looks like we're going to have near simultaneous Triforce pickups for both of them here. So they're still going to be tied 3 each.
The main difference really is just Amo's exploration in 8 right now versus the red ring and a couple extra hearts.
Yeah, that's true. Finding the any key in level 8 definitely was an advantage, or put him at a really big advantage. Spark goes down to 1 key, which I don't think will at least block her too much in the near future, but keys could be an issue for her. Just like health is proving to be an issue for Amo now.
Well, folks, we are about 33 minutes into this seed. It is time for me to do that thing that isn't the item recap, but what I do every time I'm on commentary. So, at this point, the craziest thing that could happen to the runners is that they have to go into 9 to get the raft. Raft over to level 2, which has the bow in it.
Ooh, that would be evil. I like it. This is sort of like in Link to the Past, hoping for a pedestal seed. Well, I don't think the players would like it, but in the commentators booth and in the spectators booth, yeah, definitely would like to see a more interesting seed like that. Oh, and we have a paper pickup on Amo's side.
Quick, give it to the hand, you'll get a piece of heart. Wait, wrong game.
What game is that from?
That is Majora's Mask and Oracle of Ages.
Ah, right.
Amo finding out you can't use the letter if you have a potion.
Yeah, and you don't want to accidentally drink a potion instead of showing the letter.
And to answer the question in chat, yes, the silvers were in level 8 along with the any key.
It'll be interesting to see whether Sparko goes back to level 8. She's definitely heading down in the direction of level 7 and 8. Possibly is thinking about those 2 being her last 2 Triforce pieces. Or actually, I don't know if she's actually bombed down on the south coast yet. It might have been Amo, I forget. So that'll be interesting.
She has not. And given that she knows where level 4 is, she might decide to do 8. I don't know if she'll get the Triforce out of it, because even with the blue ring, those blue Dark Nuts are still going to take a while to go down. And I'm betting she's going to skip 7.
Well, we're about to find out.
Amo, that's not a white sword. That's a magical sword. Also, to folks in chat, Twitch is being Twitch, so I may not see everything.
Yeah, Twitch and Discord aren't always the most reliable of services, but, you know, you can't really complain too much.
Sparkover's going ahead and checking level 7.
That's an interesting play. For all we know, the bow could be in here, but it's definitely a large level to be looking through, and she's only put a small dent in it so far.
Amo just got a hint that the red ring is on the coast. He's probably happy to see that, because it kind of gives him a direction to go next. In fact, it looks like Amo's gonna take it up an A, and we'll see if he starts heading that way. Although he will need some bombs.
Yep. Sparko here, looks like she's dealing with some of the lesser enemies like Pole's Voice and Pancakes here. This can't be a staircase room because the shutters are closed, but probably needs to fight them in order to progress further into the level. And is rewarded with the key. That's a nice find.
You know, I don't know if I've seen a bomb shop.
Yeah, I don't know if I have either.
That may make that bomb upgrade a little more valuable if bombs are only going to be attainable through mass murder.
That is true. Meanwhile, we have a triangle sighting on Amo's side. We're going to take that out of level 5. Only one Triforce piece away from entering level 9.
So the question is going to be, will he go back? Or is he going to say, forget the item, I'm going to go somewhere else? It looks like that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I think his rationale could be that he's already been through levels 1 and 8. Oh, and a level 2 finding. Alright, so much for the Raft Block 2 we were hoping for. But since he's gone through all the levels with 2 items so far, he may figure that looking for the bow in 9 is probably his best bet.
BTs, can we request puns? Well, we need an optimal situation to make puns. Thank you for telling us that the Dongo dwells along the river while we're in the place where the Dongo dwells.
Yep, old news, old man. But luckily enough, yet another dungeon with a Wizrobe and Darknut set. Yay!
I'm pretty sure Uncle Wizzy and the old man who are responsible for the door repair are working together. Hello, Gliok. Bye, Gliok. That is a drop room.
Yeah, this is one Wizrobe infested seed, I'll tell you. But luckily, Sparko chose to go back into level 8. So if she digs through this entire level, she'll definitely be rewarded with a lot of really great items. Although now having 5 keys, the any key probably isn't as valuable for her, but we'll definitely take it.
That's an item you don't say no to.
Absolutely. In fact, you might even say that if it's a very key-starved seed, it's the key item for you to find. Happy now, BTs?
What, you're saying the key is the key item and not the all-important super bomb? Wait, that doesn't exist.
No, I don't think there's a super bomb in this game. Speaking of items, we just crossed the 40-minute mark, so maybe now would be a good time for an item recap?
I will attempt to do so. I did not write down what items are in what dungeon, so I'm going to be rolling entirely from memory.
Okay, well, I can start. Level 1 had the power bracelet and the ladder. We
Level
also
3
found the magic boomerang, right?
Yes, that was in level 3, home of the clearly inferior model of Banana.
And I forget where the book was, but I do know that in level 8, they found both the silver arrows and the any key.
The book was in level 6. We have not found the items in levels 4, 5, 7, or 2, or 9.
Yep. We do know that the red ring is the white sword item, the recorder was the Armos item, and the coast heart was the coast heart.
Which is important for Amo, as he has picked up the heart in level 2. He knows he still needs to look for an item, which could be in here.
Hopefully these beefy red dark nuts aren't going to be what guards the item, but yeah, when you have a bomb that doesn't take out a red dark nut, that's definitely yikes.
Absolutely, but he gets a clock on the second to last enemy, so about when you normally would expect it, and gets a key for his efforts.
Meanwhile, it looks like Sparko got stuck in a room with a lot of dark nuts and wizrobes. Yikes.
Nemo is now realizing this Gliok room is going to be the item room.
Uh-oh.
Gliok has a rule about him that he can only ever have one fireball on the screen at a time. Which means as long as you don't get hit, you're usually fine, but the moment you get hit, he can just gun you down very quick.
Well, luckily... Oh, and that's the bow in level 2. Amo is in go mode.
Absolutely, fighting the Gliok, paying off. So now we'll get to see how he truly handles combat with 6 hearts, wood sword going into 9. It's probably going to be Garias.
I don't know. It could still be a wizrobe set. Well, probably not, since we've seen so many wizrobes and dark nuts, but we can always hope.
Well, unless the algorithm changed with the shuffle enemy groups, there always has to be 2 of the quote-unquote Garia set, 2 of the quote-unquote Dark Nut, and 2 of the quote-unquote Wizrobe. However, they get shuffled. If shuffle enemy groups changes that, then, well, anyone's guess.
Yeah, and I guess if the wizrobes are in the same group as the Dark Nuts, do those count? I don't know.
I don't believe those would count for both. We would need to ask someone like Fred, who's very technical on the details, about the details.
Well, at any rate, we're going to probably be going into level 9 very shortly. I see Amos on the way there, so we'll find out in just a few seconds. Meanwhile, it looks like Sparkover finally took care of that heavy combat room, and we'll hopefully find her any key and silver arrows soon.
So in level 9, there's 2 things we're going to be looking for. One is going to be the Roar of Ganon, because we can see sounds. Whenever you hear the Roar of Ganon, that means that he's in a room adjacent to the one you're currently in. You will also be looking for a shutter door that does not open when all the enemies are killed. That will mean he's found the location of Zelda.
Now, unfortunately, we don't have his game audio, so we won't know if we hear the sound of Ganon, but we'll probably see it. I've actually watched a lot of games where Ganon's come up really quickly, so it'll be interesting to see where Ganon and the princess are hiding. Oh, a wild jam evil appears. Thank you for meeping.
I believe they called that a Roadrunner.
No, that's more meep.
Oh, that's right. So the good thing for Imo is he doesn't have to worry at all about spending keys in this dungeon. And, ooh, that's a hint.
Yeah, knowing where the kidnapped awaits definitely helps narrow his search down.
And one strategy that I have seen relatively often is if you know the area where Zelda is, you start trying to find your way to Zelda. And and in the process, you hope you run into Ganon on the way.
All right, we have our any key pickup on Sparkover's side.
This is very good for Sparkover. She now won't have to worry about keys. She just needs to make her way over to level 2.
Yeah, I don't know where she's going to find her 4th and 5th Triforce piece, because I imagine she may not want to gun down all of those blue dark nuts here to get the piece out of 8. So she may do a little bit more exploring and find level 2 after all.
She might also decide to go to level 4 to get its Triforce, which, while not a terrible play, as long as she does go to level 2, it could be disastrous if she goes there to get her last Triforce piece. Also, Rafted 9.
Yep, I don't think that will really help any of them since they've already found all the levels. And Silver lies elsewhere. Tell us something we don't know.
Technobabble, rubber bands.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know any of that. Thank you.
The sad part is I know what all that Technobabble is.
Well, I guess then you're technically correct, aren't you?
Either that or I'm technically able to babble on about stuff.
That too. Anyway, so Amo's going to keep looking in level 9, only running into yet another Patra. I think he'll wisely bow out of that room.
It is always the sad day when you find out, oh, silver arrows don't work on Patras. I gotta use this sword thing.
Oh, Sparko using the boomerang to stun the Digdogger. That's definitely a good use of the boomerang there. Unfortunately, it's not going to reward her with anything.
I think she's looking for the compass or the Triforce itself to see where it is. Nope, she's bailing.
That is unfortunately not the right decision, even though she doesn't know that.
Well, she's got both the silver arrows and the any key, so I don't think she's... So I think she has enough dungeons found that she's not concerned about the Triforce.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see her pick up the silver arrows. My bad.
At least I'm pretty sure she has them. They are tracked on the tracker.
Yes. Okay. Yep. My bad.
We are now learning things. Imo has used one of his 2 potions. He's now going to pull his bombs out.
Now, it looks like Sparko's heading in the general direction of level 2, so we might be able to see and also level 5. So she probably won't be going to level 5 for the... no, she is digging level 5, apparently.
I mean, again, to be fair, she already knows it's here. She knows it's one item. She's probably explored at least a little bit of it. She might find something like a white sword.
Indeed, and she's one screen over for level 2, so she may wind up stumbling on the bow, at least inadvertently that way as well. So, we'll see what happens.
Nope, we have us a Zelda. Or Zeldo, as some say. So now he just needs to find Ganon. Which...
Oh, me.
Ganon was right next to start the whole time.
Who would have thunk it? Oh, and getting a nice stun lock, although it's going to take a total of either 15 or 16 hits with the wooden sword.
It is going to be 15. I'm guessing if Amo did hear Ganon right away, he probably decided, okay, well, I know where Ganon is. Let's go find Zelda's room first.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy, though, because if you knew where he was, might as well get him out of the way so you don't have to backtrack when you find Zelda. But anyway, he's going to know exactly where to go, so we should be able to see a finish in the next minute or two.
Apparently, she is right there out of that staircase.
What do you know? And with that, Amo's finished with an official SRL time of 51 minutes and 21 seconds. GG.
It turns out the no ring wood sword 6 hard 9 was not an issue at all.
Yeah, that was a pretty straightforward level 9, all things considered. Alright, we'll see if we can get Amo in for an interview.
Sparkover has...
Go ahead.
Found, I was going to say, Sparkover's found the second bomb upgrade in level 5. She's now up to a total of 14 bombs, which is more than enough.
Well, you say that, but she may be going through them and wind up using them all. Bombs are really useful, so you never know. But, oh, speaking of bombs, she might have to pay one. Oh no, she's going to pay the heart instead. That's probably a wise move.
With Red Ring, it's definitely not a bad idea, as she's already got a ton of bombs. She probably wants to save those for combat because she's running on wood sword. Gets the ladder clip. Very nice.
Yeah, and in the dark, too. Well, she probably has a lot of practice from doing that in vanilla.
And for the ladder clip, compared to the screen scroll, it's basically, they're both the same maneuver. You get to a certain pixel and then do a 1 frame perpendicular tap. What pixel you line up with just depends on what side you're doing the ladder clip from and also where you're screen scrolling. But they have the same core functionality built in.
Yep, exactly.
Let's see if we can't have Amo come in with us.
Hey guys.
Oh. There he is. GG and congratulations.
Hey, thank you both.
So walk us through that seed. What were your thoughts about it?
It was an interesting seed. It's always interesting to find the Take Any Road early on to get some access to kind of widely dispersed parts of the map. So I was fortunate to find 1 and 3 pretty early, which helped a bit. It took me a while to track down a sword, but overall, I think I just dug the right dungeons.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Now, the interesting thing was that you definitely had the advantage of having the right pieces to the puzzle and the items, whereas Sparko had a big advantage in terms of health, heart containers, and the red ring, which, by the way, was the white sword item. I think you missed finding that, but so it was interesting to see how that played out.
Yeah, once I found the book in 6, I did get a hint that said the white sword item was the red ring. I just never tracked it down.
I see, but it looks like you were able to handle the combat in level 9, and it was relatively straightforward even without the ring, so well played.
Yeah, I mean, level 9 had to be a bit gentler considering some of the enemy groupings and some of the other dungeons. I mean,
definitely a
eight
lot
was
of wizards in this seat.
yeah, 8 was pretty brutal, and I considered bailing on level 8, and obviously it paid off that I stuck it out. And I tried to skirt around Dark Nut combat as much as I could, and there was certainly a payday there, both with the silvers and the any key.
Yep. Speaking of paydays, Sparkover want to announce she just entered in level 2 and will hopefully be finding the bow soon. And that'll put her in go mode and possibly be her, no, not her last Triforce piece, but yeah, she'll be eligible to enter 9 as soon as she gets 2 more Triforce pieces. And probably going to try to fight down that Gleeok. Yikes.
I mean, she does have red rings, so she can kind of just stand there and face tank it. And I'm also going to guess she'll go to level 4 to get her last Triforce. Even though it is out of the way, it's the shortest dungeon she has left.
Yeah, that's very possible. Now, I forget where the Triforce was in level 2, but she'll be trying to find it. Sure.
I think it was up near the top.
Yeah, it was a few rooms north of where the bow dropped, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. So while she's making her way up there, do you have any other thoughts about the seed that you want to share, Amo?
I mean, it ended up being a pretty fun seat for me. Again, I mean, it's nice when you just end up in the right dungeons and track down the items that you need. I was a little worried about finding level 7 early on. I know it's a big dungeon. I didn't really want to dig it, but if the bow or ladder or something were in 7, I figured I would have been behind. So, I think I think I was fortunate to make the right plays and have enough combat to wait it out. It was an interesting Ganon location also. I wish I would have gotten there a little bit sooner, but 9 wasn't too bad. Thankfully, I found a fairly linear path there.
Now that reminds me, did you hear Ganon's roar coming into level 9?
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, because we were wondering exactly why you searched for so long and then only to find him literally right next door to the start screen.
Yeah, I didn't hear it at all. I don't know if maybe I was having an audio problem or something, but had I heard the roar, I certainly would have just hopped right over to the left.
I have heard and also experienced that sometimes if Ganon is adjacent to a shutter door, the door's opening while Master Roar, as Jamie will just point it out in chat.
I see. I didn't know that. It's funny how you learn something new about this game every day, it seems like.
That does make me feel a little bit better.
What? The game's 30 years old? Nah, there's still things to be found. always stuff to be found.
So true.
Great. So you're now 1-0, Amo. What are your thoughts about next week's match? Are there any players you would really like to play or not play?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so many great rando players in this tournament, and this is a really interesting flag set because it sets players up to take interesting gambles. So I think, we might see more upsets than if it were an all 8 Triforce piece required tournament. But I don't have anyone in particular I'm looking forward to facing or anything. Again, they're great runners, and I just feel fortunate to be 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come in for an interview, and congratulations again on your win.
Yeah, thank you both, and GG to Sparkover. I'll be popping in to watch her finish up.
Yep, and speaking of Sparkover finishing up, now that she has the ladder, she'll be able to make fairly quick work of level 1, or level 4 rather, I hope, and will then be able to go straight to level 9.
You know, this actually could be the Triforce room right here for Sparkover.
Yeah, that's true. I think the horizontal shoot room almost always has a drop.
I believe it has to have a drop, just the way the room's laid out. Interesting she didn't bomb to the right there.
Yeah, that might have just been her overlooking or forgetting about that extra breakfast room. Or at least breakfast room in the vanilla game.
Pancakes.
Well, I don't know if pancakes are in this enemy set, but it looks like she does find that Triforce piece, although, man, guarded by that Patra in a moat room. Gosh, wow. That's going to be a challenging ladder clip.
You know, I don't think bees are a part of a balanced breakfast.
No, they definitely are not. So I imagine she'll be going around taking the long way over, perhaps. Yeah, it's one thing when you're trying to get around Patra in order to clip into a diamond staircase, but to ladder clip, boy.
Especially when it just sits there in the middle of the room.
But luckily she's able to take the back roads over there and pick up her last Triforce piece. Interestingly enough, she picked out the Triforce pieces from levels 1 through 5.
Given that level 6 she was key blocked out of early and in level 7 are generally pretty large, and level 8 is it's level 8. It's a kind of what I expected her to do. Grab the Triforces out of it.
Sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even though she dug level 8, having 8 blue dark nuts in a room where you don't have much room to maneuver, definitely not a good situation, even with the red ring.
So now that we have what's it called? Now that we have seen go ahead.
Well, it'll be interesting as she goes into level 9 to see if she hears Ganon's roar, because we know that on Amo's side, he totally missed that. So let's see. It could be a quick level 9 if she does notice it, or chooses to go left instead of up.
And she goes left.
All right, well, that answers that question.
I believe she just has to go north like 2 rooms, take a stair, and she's done with 9. Like, this could be the fastest 9 I've seen in a very long time.
Well, there was one level 9 I had from a previous tournament where literally you went left into Ganon's room, and then there's a shutter door that opened and you went left one more, and that was where the kidnap was. So that was pretty darn short.
That is the perfect level 9.
Ooh, Sparkover getting a really nice stun lock on Ganon now. Oh, except she lost it. Yikes.
But she got it back long enough.
Yep, and is able to take down the piggy. Fortunately, with the red ring, those Hyrule drivers only cost 1 heart as opposed to much more. And getting a bomb to the north, this may take her in the direction of the kidnap really quickly. Now, since she's playing as Princess Zelda, she's going to be looking for Prince Link.
Wait, is he a prince? I thought it was just a dude.
Well, since Link isn't rescuing himself, obviously he must be a prince. I kid.
Maybe he is. He's certainly the prince of the dinner.
Well, hey, you know, this is randomizer. We can have a few liberties with the canon, I think.
I think so too. And speaking of liberties, Link is now at liberty.
Yes, and Sparkover rescues Prince Link, coming with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG Sparkover.
And what an extremely fast 9 that was.
Yeah, unfortunately it was too little too late for her, but Wow, that 9 was definitely an easy one, and she comments about it in chat. Let's see if we can get her in for an interview.
So, we never found the item in 7, which means it's White Sword. And we never found the second item in 9, which means it's Sword Banana, which is the regular boomerang. Clearly.
And with that being, I think we have a Sparkover in chat.
Hello? Hello, there we go. I found my key.
Hello, GG Sparko.
Why, thank you. That was the most delightful little level 9 ever.
Yeah, that was pretty straightforward, especially with Ganon being right next to start. You handled it much quicker than Amo did. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late at that point. But take us through the rest of the seed. What are your thoughts on it?
Let's see. Lots and lots of dungeons with enemies that I didn't like. Lots of Wizrobes and blue dark knots. That was not a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time going in and out of rooms in hopes of, refreshing what was there and then being able to fight the easier enemies. Not too bad overall. I felt myself going back to a lot of levels just by not having what was necessary. But I mean, fun seed overall. What was my time? I don't remember what my time was.
About 1 hour and 5 minutes.
That's one of the fastest seeds I've ever played, actually. That might be I forgot to start my timer, actually. But yeah, I think that's actually the fastest of these flags I've ever played, so you can't complain about that.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations on your PB, then.
Yes, absolutely. The one thing that you had that Amo did not get was the red ring. And I want to ask, how did that change your perception of how you approach the seed?
Without it, I would have been in a lot of trouble. I am not very great at combat, so finding that is pretty much a little miracle for me, so I'm happy that I came across it. Going into 9 without a potion, even with the red ring, is kind of iffy for me, but turned out to be a non-issue, so yay.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, we were commenting when Amo was in chat about he definitely had the item advantage going into both 1 and 8 relatively early. However, you had the defensive advantage, so it was interesting to see how that played out. But with the way the flags are set up such that gambling and getting the items from the right levels quickly can make a huge difference, that's a lot of, I think, why he was able to get into 9 and done with it sooner. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Where did the ladder end up? Was that in 1?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I noped out of there really quickly just because of, well, I found it super early and I knew there were things in there that had combat that I didn't want and also lacked keys in the beginning. So yeah, early ladder is nice, but wasn't for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes you find what you need early on, sometimes you don't. It really just depends on your seed and how lucky you get. So, do you have any other thoughts or comments about the seed?
It wasn't too bad overall. I probably spent a little more time poking around in 6 and 7 than I generally like to, but you never know. Sometimes I just like to stick my nose in there and, see if you can find anything early, and if not, maybe just leave. And then it turned out 8 was right beside 7 anyway. Other than that, it was a lot of fun. I mean, this is my first tournament race as far as Zelda Randomizer goes, so, I'm just glad that I was able to have a pretty good seed for my first one. I mean, I wasn't the fastest, but I was my fastest, so that's pretty cool going into it.
Yeah, that's excellent, and really glad that you had fun with it. So,
and let me say real quick that for a first randomizer tournament, that was definitely a good showing.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I do look forward to the next rounds.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, we might want to talk a little bit about the rest of the schedule, since we do have a pretty big lineup for games, at least later tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern. We have Adiginos versus Buzz Thunder. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to be restreamed. Or I'm sorry, that's actually probably already started since it's a little bit after 11 o'clock. And GM, you might be able to say in chat where that's being restreamed. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all for us, unless you have any closing thoughts, Elsoa?
I do not. At the moment.
All right. Well, with that, thank you very much for everyone for watching, and hope you enjoy the rest of the Zelda Randomizer Pentaforce tournament. Have a lovely night. Bye-bye.